Yes! Happy Halloween, everyone! Hello, Ana-Maria.
Hello and happy Halloween.
Thank
So good to
you.
be here with you.
Right?
Yeah,
Oh, gosh, we're going to talk about ghosts.
ghost.
Yes. More specific, like ghosts in the house.
And it's not a ghost to the house, but it's an entity.
Exactly. Yeah. House clearings. Do you do it quite often? Like just playing with entities and houses and those kind of things?
All the time, yeah, especially when I move a lot, like with new houses, apartments, it's so much more ease.
Wow.
And as I know, you travel a lot. So do you use the tools when you go into new places? Do you discover like haunted places? And then when you leave, it's like, oh, not so haunted.
Oh, yes. And hello, everybody, for joining. Hi. Yeah, totally. One of the things I've noticed, if you have a capacity with entities, and which a lot of the people that actually take classes with me or do sessions with me, they get drawn to it, sometimes because they think they have a problem or because they want to learn more. But basically, all of them have this capacity with entities. And what I've seen would happen to me is that I would get like the hit to go somewhere, and it was like, wow, this house. I even have a castle not too far from me here, and one day I just saw it. It has been there always, but I never saw it. And one day I was driving on the highway and I saw it, and I got completely pulled to go and see if I could buy it, like what were the possibilities. And in the end there was like so many like weird energies and things going on. um and it took me years before I actually got, oh, it's not that I want to buy that place. It's actually places that might call us to change the energies that are either left over there because like owners that have ever been living there are for one reason or the other still attached to that. And then sometimes there is also just things going on in the structures of the houses, which you already said, like, it's like every house is an entity,
Yeah.
every tree is an entity. And if you can get to actually build with the land, but also start to look at the buildings where you live, where you create, where you go to from a different point of view, and see what contribution they can be to us, but also we to them. Oh my goodness, the gift it will be for your body to be somewhere, even if it's haunted. Um, what if you had tools to just change that and then see, okay, so what else can we create here?
I love that. And what you said, like being in communion and actually creating with the house or the land, it's like so beyond. We are not taught to actually choose to create. We are taught that, hey, you have to decide what to do and you just do it. You don't ask questions, you just have a big decision there.
Yeah.
And it's so different. What you wanted to say?
Yeah, no, I love that. And one of the things that also suddenly comes to mind is that, like, I've seen a few, like, these days, what they start sometimes also doing is graving out cemeteries. And then they start building up, like, they will, like, build, like, an entire, like, village on there. Or they will, like, one time I was on an island and they were, like, graving, like, out graving. Do you say that? Actually, like, emptying graves to build a luxury hotel like 5 years from then. And I was like, wow, that is so interesting how as humans we make this kind of choices, and then a lot of us have this thing like, oh well, I don't believe in ghosts, I just want to do whatever I want. And sometimes that works out. It's not to say it never works out, but like quite often there will just be something off. There will be something off that doesn't allow like your garden to flourish, or you'll have kids and they'll actually wander through the house and sometimes literally go crazy. Or like maybe some people that will have like all kind of entity awareness that can so easily actually be changed by creating with rather than forcing through.
I remember when I was young and I just couldn't sleep alone without the light on. I was so scared. I knew there was something there. I thought monsters and stuff like that. And discovering the talk to the entities tools, it just opened a whole new world for me. And I have so much more ease with that. It's like, oh, I wake up in the middle of the night and I perceive that it's something there. And I don't have to be scared. I just can use the tools and wow.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of us don't realize how much it can impact. And it doesn't have to, but not too long ago, I was called in to do like a house clearing in a beautiful house, really nice people. And there was this energy around where the husband actually was, since they actually moved into that house many, many years ago, started changing into not being such a nice person. And the minute actually I came to the door, there was already like a conflict, and like basically the person was being an asshole. And I was like, I don't even want to do the session. And then the people were like, no, please come in. We'll just like evacuate him. We'll work with you. I'm like, okay, if you want to work with me, but I'm not going to do this. I don't want people to treat me. And so like that. And so we started actually like looking at, okay, what's going on here and energies. And through asking questions, there were a lot of like energies that were protective towards that house, but in a different reality many years ago. Like these people probably don't even exist anymore, right? With a body. And it was really about like kingdom and those kind of like perceptions that you can think like, oh my God, I'm crazy if I perceive that. And then if it starts to affect this reality, and you can actually change it by acknowledging it, and also making all of these layers like aware of like, hey, we're 2021 right now. We bought this house on paper. And like, how can we now change that energy? Are you going to stay? And how are we in that case going to live together? Or you will have to actually start to realize that right now this isn't going to work. So, and this is a place where I saw that whole family actually change, and starting to realize like, oh my goodness, wow. So all this conflict thing, these energies that are around, they are truly there, but we didn't manage to change them because they weren't between us. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things with the awareness of that. Sometimes you'll buy properties or land and it seems like you cannot build for years, sometimes people, or you cannot sell, because there might be some other energies in energetic charge, and actually just like keeping everything stuck.
Wow, I just love that story and how much we are, like, how aware we are actually. And wow.
And how awareness plays out, right? Because like we think like, oh, awareness is this thing where you're like, you ask a question and then you become aware. But it's like, what if awareness could play out also in you having fights with people and not realizing, why do we constantly have this fight? We need to change this. We can't change it because it's awareness that is going through you. That only if you acknowledge, oh my goodness, who or what am I aware of? You'll be able to actually start to choose something different and change that.
Yeah, totally. And now by saying that, I remember growing up, I used to have this kind of fear, and also like I felt like everyone was hating me, nobody liked me, and it was and now I'm like, oh, I was aware of all the entities, and now every time that thing comes up, I sometimes I go into that, like I totally buy it, and then after a few minutes I realize, oh hey, what's going on here? And it's my awareness of entities, and it's so cool to realize and to be aware that, hey, after your body dies, you don't die. So some beings like keep staying here, and they don't know that they don't have a body.
But and this is often like, I love how you say that, because like, what if a lot of these places where you make yourself crazy, where you judge yourself, you might be aware of entities or demons, and not identifying them can for some people really take a destructive lane. And then with the talk to the entities tools that have been created by Access Consciousness and Shannon O'Hara, Oh my goodness. Is there such a different reality available if you choose?
Yeah. And what if like today is like the international or almost international day where like ghosts and stuff like that are kind of normal and acceptable? So what's it gonna take to be like all year?
Yeah. Yeah, and so if you like, I'm doing like a house clearing. It's like I love these specialty classes from Talk to the Entities because they're a deep dive. So also if you've done like the entity class 2.5 day, or if you have no like clue what Talk to the Entities, you can just jump on, and it's like a 1.5 hour to 2 hours like dive into like exercises and starting to perceive, like step into your perceiving and realize like, okay, so what's going on here? How do I look at the world? Because like both of us can actually work with a house, and most probably we will both like start in a different direction and do different things. And I think that's one of the most empowering things with access. It's not about finding a right way to clear a house, but starting to opening up to like, okay, what ability do you have with houses? What abilities do you have with entities? And how can these get together? And can you actually start to have way too much fun? And maybe also, if you wish, start to create money with that, you know?
Totally, yeah. And for me, this kind of classes like specialties change so much, especially the house clearing. Like there are so many tools, and being focused on like the houses, the land, and how you can use the tools with the specific things, it changes a lot, and it totally helped me to realize more and more that hey, I have capacities here and I don't have to use them against me like I used to. I can use them to create something greater and that actually works.
Yeah. And secret for all of you, maybe your house or your houses and lands, future, past and present, might be very happy for you to actually step into this potency and start to open up to questioning the possibilities that are there with housing and, yeah, clearings and those kind of things. So, when is it? The 2nd of November, am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, and it's 9 o'clock CET, so Europe time, online. You can find the links somewhere either above or down this message. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me or Ana-Maria, and then we can help you out.
Yeah, and let's play with the entities.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining on this first like Halloween day. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, and thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you. And I will see you on the 2nd of November, and maybe we'll see you too. Bye, everyone.
Bye.